It's me, Kenzie, and today I have a story time video for you guys. I rarely do story times ever, if ever. I think I have one up on my channel. If you guys aren't subscribed to my channel, do that down below. This story time is like, I want to do it because I want to share it with you guys, but then I also just don't want to do it at all. I post 4 videos a week. I make vlogs Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I also post a high quality Saturday video, and this is my Saturday video. Okay. Just a tiny disclaimer. I think this is why I'm so nervous to do this video. My father is, he watches all of my videos. He literally gets notifications for them. He's super protective, which I love, but protective over things that don't matter, and I haven't told him this yet. And I never planned on telling him it, so telling the internet before I'm telling him makes me really nervous. I've told my mom, I've told all of my friends, all of my private Twitter. I'm also trying to word this in a way that I won't get in trouble. Just in case, I'm not telling you guys what school I go to, what class this was, any information at all about this person, anything. The story time is about exactly what the title says. I had a total Jersey accent there that was really weird. This is not clickbait or anything. My teacher, or professor, I guess. Nah, is he a professor? I don't know technically if he is, but my professor hit on me, not very subtly either, and it really creeps me out. It is a brand new semester. I just transferred to the school. It had been a couple weeks into this class, and I was like, yo, I love this teacher. He's so funny and really sarcastic, and you know, this is like the only class that I actually care about. Basically halfway through the semester, it is the day before spring break. I'm going to New York. I got stuff to do. I have to leave. Literally, I'm skipping my last class for this work trip to New York. The way my schedule last semester was I had 3 classes in a row. I had an online class, and then I also had an earlier class, but my 3 classes in a row went advertising, this class, and then a class after that, and I was gonna skip that class after. I walked from my advertising class straight to this class, this said class, and halfway to the classroom, I was like, oh my god, I'm an idiot. I forgot that he told us last time that we don't have class today. I got super pumped about like having more time to pack for New York because I'm extremely last minute. I just wanted to check beforehand, so I go to his office, which is right next door to the classroom. So it wasn't out of my way. I wasn't like forcing myself to go there, if that makes sense. So I stopped by and I asked him, hey, I totally forgot, but we don't have class, right? Like I said, he's super sarcastic and funny, and he was like, no, you idiot, stupid, come in. Most professors at my school are also like guidance counselor types, so they like to like pull information from you no matter what. Don't think anything of it. I sit down and he starts asking me about my life, whatever, you know, he's a guidance counselor, that's what you do. And at the time I was actually going through something really weird and difficult, so he was like the only person that was non-biased in my life to ask for advice, so I was totally opening up, which I normally don't really ever do. So I'm talking to him about my dog. So I'm talking to him about my life, whatever, while he's sitting there vaping, by the way. He's sitting there acting super chill, whatever, and then he gives me life advice, and then he starts talking about his life and just like random stuff. He like segues into his life, which I don't care. I love talking to people, and if he wants to talk about his life, cool. This is when it started to get super personal, and he was telling me about this one girl in the class who's like the Kim Kardashian of our class. Like, she's this super know-it-all, dresses literally crazy for class. Like, I don't understand it. Full face, baked makeup, like everything for class, which I'm totally cool with. Sometimes I do that, but like, she acts like she's Kim Kardashian. He's telling me about this one day in class, which I don't even remember, but she was on her phone nonstop, and he just asked her to put it down. She didn't, so he took it out of her hands and put it on her desk. He was telling me how she was filing a, like, not a lawsuit, harassment suit against him for touching her stuff. And I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. Like, why didn't she just put her phone down? We were talking about it. And then he goes, I'm scared. And I was like, what? Okay, why are you scared? Like, you have like a bunch of people backing you up that were there in class saying that she was on her phone, and when she shouldn't be. It's like a school policy, I think, not to be on your phone. He goes, I'm scared because one day I was sitting in my office really dumb with my door open, and I was talking to my girlfriend, and I was like trying to keep a straight face. Normally, like, if you hear that, you're like, okay, whatever. He talks so much about his wife and how much they love each other and their son, who's like 1 or 2 or something like that. Talking to your girlfriend, okay. And he was like, I'm scared that she's gonna say that I have a girlfriend and she's gonna use that against me. Not that I lost respect for him, but like that's his own situation, but I was just like, okay. I didn't need to know that personally, but whatever. After he says that, he notices that I'm not like, I'm a bubbly person, and he noticed that I was kind of like more solemn, like I wasn't like smiling, I guess. I don't know. And he was like, yeah, so I have a girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. He starts telling me the personal information, which I don't want to share with you guys about. Before any of this happened, I had mentioned that my parents were away for the week and I had the house to myself, and I was watching my little sister, and I was headed to New York for a work trip. After I learned the information about his girlfriend, he asked me if I was going to throw a party, and I was like, no, it's a little bit high school for me. Like, I'm not throwing any parties. My little sister's there. And he was like, oh, I have like some friends that I can bring over. And he was joking. But then throughout our conversation, he kept bringing it up, and it was really, really weird. And I was just like, okay, not gonna happen, but whatever. Also, at one point, my phone was on his desk because it was like a rather large desk. My phone was just on his desk facing upwards, and it goes off like I got a text message. And he leans over and he's like, oh, is that your boyfriend? And I was like, no, it's my mom. And I should have said yes just to like make it not weird. But he was like, oh, interesting. And I was like, I should have just said I had a boyfriend. I forgot to mention one of the weirdest parts for me while I was filming this, and I don't know how I forgot. My nails are like really long and pointy. When I had seen him, I needed to get them filled so badly. Like, they were really, really overgrown. I had my hands on his desk like this, and he was like, whoa, are those gonna like poke me? And I was like, no, like, I just really need to get them done. I think I'm gonna get them a lot shorter. And he goes, no, don't. Guys like that. And I was like, okay. He starts showing me his music, which is like a thing that people do to like flirt, I guess. I don't know how to explain it, but like when someone shows you their music, they want like you're interested in it, you know? Like, music is a very personal thing in my opinion. He started showing me some of his music, and I personally am a very like old soul with music. Like, I love literally every type of music. Like, I could go from jazz, I don't know about jazz, but I could go from like Johnny Cash to Screamo. Like, maybe not Screamo. Anyways, so he started showing me like Beatles and Johnny Cash, and I was like, oh, I love this stuff. And then he started showing me the band Fish, which is like a mash type jam band type thing. Anyways, I was like, oh yeah, I think my dad listens to this music. And he was like, ooh, that dates me. And I was like, he was like, how old is your dad? I was like, my dad's like 45. And he was like, yeah, I'm 45. I was like, okay. He had told me that he had just broken up with his girlfriend, and it was like a 6-month relationship or something like that, and he was super sad about it. And he was like, my last girlfriend was, how old are you? And I was like, I'm 21. And he was like, yeah, she was your age. And I was just like, okay. That's when I started feeling super uncomfortable. Not that I wasn't already kind of uncomfortable, but that's when I was like, okay, this is turning into something that I don't want to happen. You might be thinking like, oh, he's just telling you about his life, whatever. He starts telling me about how this girl is a unicorn, and I was like, what? There's not much that I haven't done. And she was like a rare find sexually. Like, she surprised me. I was like, I wanted to get out of the office so bad, and I kept looking at the clock. And every time I looked at the clock, normally, you know, a normal person would be like, oh, you can go whenever. He was like, oh, you trying to leave? You trying to get out of here fast? And I was like, no. You also have to understand, this is my professor, like my current professor, and I don't want to like piss him off or anything. Like, I don't really know this guy, so I don't know if like maybe if I say something wrong or try to leave early, he'll take the wrong message and like be mad at me and give me bad grades. I don't really know. He's telling me how whenever he has a girlfriend, he likes to be friends with them first. Like, he doesn't just like to randomly hook up with people. And I was like, okay. Ugh. This is at the point where I totally understood what he wanted from me. Maybe not from me, but like, I got the point where he wasn't just telling me just to be a friend, you know? Like, I'm not over exaggerating. He started to tell me how there wasn't a school policy against dating your students, and I was like, that's wrong, but okay. My aunt literally looked it up after I told her the story. Told me that I was like an enigma and I was really hard to figure out, and we would be really good friends and he would like to figure me out more, and I was like, I'm literally half your age. I was in there for like probably an hour and a half trying to get out of there so badly without being rude. Eventually he had a girl coming in for an appointment, so I had to leave, and right before I left he slipped me this card, his business card, and on the back of it was like his cell phone number that he had literally just written down, and he was like, I hope this isn't like pushing it, don't feel bad about not texting me or calling me, but I would really like to be friends with you. Whenever he has a girlfriend, he likes to be friends with them first. Like, he doesn't just like to randomly hook up. Remember, he said he only hooks up with his friends. He's literally my dad's age. Okay. I get up to go and he's kind of right here behind me, and there's another girl coming into the office. My hand. There's another girl coming into the office as I'm leaving. And he goes, have fun in New York, don't do anything I wouldn't do, because he was telling me about how much drugs he does when going to all of these concerts. So I was like, that doesn't say much, or something like that, like playfully, and I looked back, and as I looked back, he's looking at my ass, like full on just like looking at me, and I was like, there's literally someone staring right at you. After that, after I left, obviously I didn't call him or anything like that. I had a week-long break for spring break. When I came back, my whole vision of him changed in that class. I felt really awkward going. I didn't want to talk to him because he would often stop me after class before I left. And then it kind of clicked after that meeting that we kind of had, that I was like, oh, this is weird. This is not what I thought it was. And I also noticed that he never talked to the guys in the class. There was probably like 30 students. We were all like open concept in a room. He would never talk to the guys, and I noticed it, and he was super intimate with all of the girls. Before class, after class, like leaning on the desk, super intimate. The day after I got back from spring break during that class, he goes up to this girl who he like had been talking to throughout the whole entire semester, and they seemed like they were super close. Not that I'm saying anything happened between them. Was right next to me, so I overheard them talking about like super personal things that happened to her. The first class after this happened, and like touches her hair, like grabs her hair, and he's like, you did something different to your hair. And I was just like, how many people have you done this to? I didn't really talk to anybody in that class because it was like a weird open concept where like separated from people, but you were also like close. It was really weird. The day after the final, I leave the room, and this girl that was sitting next to me that I hadn't really talked to at all during the semester comes right after me. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna ask someone, because I didn't want to like make it obvious, you know, it's his own personal thing that he has like relationships with other people. So I asked her, I was like, hey, has he ever like been weird with you? And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, has he ever like hit on you? She was like, no, but my friends have seen him on Tinder and it's really weird. And I was like, that is my story time. I know it was like kind of weird, but I also wanted to make this story time because I'm okay with myself enough to say nothing's gonna happen. Like, we're not gonna be friends. You're my professor. I'm not interested in you at all like this. But there are some people that feel pressured to, you know, maybe like do favors for someone who is in a more higher up role because they're afraid of something happening if they don't. And I just want to tell you guys that it is okay to say no. No matter who it is, if it's a colleague, if it's someone your age, if it's a professor, it doesn't matter who it is, you can say no. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe down below, and if you like story times, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. I've been told by a lot of my YouTube friends that I should do story times because I have a lot of interesting things that happen to me. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!